great timing by you, Bartz.
I know what I'm doing.
You've done this before.
That's why you have me here.
It's one of the only reasons.
Yeah, doesn't matter. All you need is one good one.
What? How many slices of pizza?
Well, I had 2 slices and then one of those really tiny, thin slices, right? I can eat those, right, JF?
Yeah, the tiny ones.
Yeah, I could eat a ton of those, right?
Yeah, 5 tiny ones equals
1 slice.
I don't need this kind of math bringing me down. I was eating the tiny slices.
Remember that time you went away from French fries for like a month?
It was hard. It's harder to drop French fries than you might think. Because you go to a lot of places. I like my cheeseburgers. I wasn't going to drop cheeseburgers. I mean, let's not be stupid here, people. But how many places do you go? What are your options? You can't just eat more cheeseburgers. You got to have something on the side.
Coach, is there any hope for him?
Well, you usually order a salad on the side with the cheeseburger, but salad and cheeseburger doesn't go that well together.
I mean, you could take
They don't have salads at Burger Hut.
You could take the burger off the bun, and then,
I've done that. I did that when I quit bread for a month and a half.
Welcome back, Condors Unleashed, here at the Bakersfield, California. It's the season finale of Condors Unleashed. The Condors that play next Tuesday, so this is it. The schedule hasn't been really conducive to, us trying to do Condors Unleashed. We apologize for that. We hope you've enjoyed it. It's the 10th episode. Feels, it's just flown by here this season. Condors Head Coach J.F. Houle joining us here. And, Coach, let's start there. I mean, you have the summer months, and there's always that anticipation of getting the season going, and then just like that's it. It's quick. I mean, these things fly by.
Yeah, it goes by fast. Like you said, it seems like we just started, not long ago, and it sure goes fast.
So, what was your week? What's the last week been? Well, I guess it's only Tuesday here, but thinking about practice here for the guys. Obviously, the playoffs not in the picture. I would imagine it's kind of hard to just go in and go through the normal motions. What's it been like? The guys seem pretty upbeat today, anyways. No,
the guys are upbeat. I mean, they want to come to the rink. They want to have fun. It's tough. The only thing it's tough to have fun when you're in a losing streak like we are right now. We're struggling to win games. At times it's tough for us to compete with other teams, but they want to come to the rink and then try to have fun here in the last couple of weeks. But it's not easy. It's not easy to keep everybody their mind focused on the games here.
Your first year here in the ECHL, and certainly, there's a learning process with anything. There's an evolution every year, whether you're a head coach, whether you're a player, whether you're in a front office or just working in a regular job. What's kind of one thing or maybe 2 things that you learned about yourself or learned about maybe things to do differently moving forward?
Well, it's one of the biggest thing is, I was listening to you talking about Sylvestre being our leading scorer as a rookie and might break the record. And, that says it all right there. And I think that, we might have made I don't know if it's a mistake or first we build around the players that are up in the AHL. We build around the Joneses and Winquist, and they're only here for 23 games. So, that was probably a mistake. To do it back over again, I wouldn't build around the AHL players because they're not going to stay. You got to count like they're not staying, and lack of veterans. I think the lack of veteran players on this team really hurt us here, especially right now. On the losing streak we have, we all have rookies. I mean, we probably have the team with the most rookies in the league, and you need some veteran presence out there in order to win some games.
Earlier in the season, you seem to have a lot of depth. And I hear you say, you try not to build around the AHL guys. Well, that's tough because you have roster limits and everything. It's not like you can just keep an extra 5 guys around just because you have AHL guys here. But, at the beginning of the season, it seemed like you were making all the right moves at the right time. You get rid of a D, and then a D comes down. A forward's getting ready to leave. You brought in a veteran forward like Brooks. And then in the second half of the season, everything just seemed to go against you. You get rid of a D, and then 2D get called up. You get rid of a forward, and then a forward gets called up. It's just the ebbs and flows of a season.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes on in the ECHL, a lot of turnover of players. And you're right, at the beginning of the year, if I remember well, McNeil and Sylvestre were a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
Because we have so much depth and we had some very skilled players that were here. and now they're on their top line, and we wouldn't be able to go without them. So it's a big fluctuation of talent and different people, and I feel like in the second half, every time we replaced a player by maybe not the most skill, as much skill as the player that left,
right.
And that really hurts. It hurts, but the players that are here right now, they're trying to give everything they have and try to play as hard as they can.
It's tough to look forward to next year and kind of think that far ahead, but you have a group of guys here that, guys that are going to be entering maybe their second season or third season next year that you can build around, especially when you look at a guy like what Josh Curry's done this year. Yeah. Sylvester in his rookie season, even McNeil in his limited time has performed very well.
Some of those players we obviously would like to have back next year in Norfolk, and they're good players in their own rights. But if we bring in like some guys with more veteran status, with the more games played and stuff like that, those players probably end up on the second and third line, and it makes you a better team. So.
And it's tough too because and I heard you mention about Brendan Conley and seeing him last week, because Brendan Conley got off to a tough start. Now has turned it on really here as of late. But there's a guy, and you mentioned that veteran, who probably isn't going to get called up all year. So you kind of have to find that balance of a guy who's very good but probably not going to get called up and can be here all year, and it's tough.
Yeah, it's a real, you hit it right on the head there. It's a fine line between, if you get a player that's too good, he's going to get called up. You're not going to have him. Right. If you get a player that's not good enough, then you're just not going to win enough games. Yeah. So you got to get those guys that are right on the borderline, and that's something that I need to learn a little bit more as a head coach. And this year was kind of a rude awakening for me for a lot of things, especially the movement that this league has, and there's going to be a lot of different things that I'll be doing different in the coming years, and it was a great learning lesson for me.
You mentioned Norfolk. Obviously, the ECHL Condors are relocating, and I imagine that makes things a little bit difficult for everybody down there. It's one thing if you have guys that want to come back, who like Bakersfield, who get along great with the coaching staff and want to stay. It's got to be tough looking at the next month or two for you and trying to make that transition.
Yeah, for sure. It's not easy. You look at the players you have, and then different set of recruiting. You got to recruit out east instead. And for me, you got to move the family, and there's a lot of things that goes into it. So but you got to take one day at a time here, and try to map it out, and try to get the best players possible for next year.
When you were a player and playing in this league, did it matter where you played, or that you were just playing a game of hockey?
I always try to go back as when I was a player and how I was thinking in particular moments, and I think that's really important. And it's amazing how just those guys, they just play hockey. I mean, it's the place they play in is not that important. They want to have more ice time. That's the one thing that players always want. They want more ice time, so they tend to go to a place where they know they're going to play a lot. Sometimes they'll go to a bad team or a bad city in order to get more ice time. So for them, they just go out there and just have fun. That's I'm sure they're not too happy with our losing streak right now, but they like playing hockey, and that's why they're here.
One thing as a player that you probably always want is an opportunity at the next level. This Condor squad has put 9 guys up in the American Hockey League this season. So, as much as that can throw your team and your roster into a complete, out of whack, ultimately that's great and can help you in the long run.
That's one of the bright spots of this season. And, I was a big proponent of, when I took the job, I told Ben and Willie, let's do this for the kids first, so we're not going to hold nobody back if they get a call up, or, we lost 3 players to Europe. You could put an end to that and tell them, no, I'm not letting you go, but we're in this for the players, and if they can make more money or go up to the next level, it's our duties as a coach to let them go. And we're really proud of the guys that we put up there in OKC, and I think they're doing a great job, and they're a big part of the team right now.
And moving forward too, that's something that becomes a selling point not only for yourself, but the type of culture that you're looking to create for your squad. And hey, listen, you come play for us. There's a good opportunity here, especially, I mean, how many injuries have been in Oklahoma City? It just seems like every other day is another injury, whether it be in Edmonton or Oklahoma City. I mean, there's a good opportunity for players in this system